Welcome to this week's edition of Red and Black Sport. Great to have your company. Let's go back to 7 o'clock last Friday night. No, it was 6 o'clock actually, wasn't it? It was great. Yeah, great time to have it on. 6 o'clock on a Friday night. Canterbury, they played so well against Auckland the week before, no way they could back up and play as well again. Well, they did. They did a demolition job on Waikato. And the most impressive thing to me was just the way they started the game. I know if you've been watching the program regularly, I've been very critical of the Crusaders as far as just not coming out on all 6 cylinders at the start of a game. Well, there was no two ways about that. Canterbury just blew Waikato off the park. Don't know what Scott Robertson's got as a coach, but whatever it is, with a group of young men, he does a remarkably good job. They all played very well, beautiful conditions, as I say, great time to play it, and yet another very comprehensive victory. 50 points, you know, it's pretty jolly impressive, isn't it? Then, of course, we came to the Press Cup final, which we've done 17 weeks of, and we got to the final. It was Christchurch Boys High School hosting, and it had to be played at a neutral venue, so it was played at the Linwood Club, which is going to come up in discussion a little bit later on, the Linwood Club, famous club, and they took on the boys from Nelson College. And to be fair, it's been a strange side, this Christchurch Boys High side, in so much as they've won every single game, they've scored a bonus point in every single game, and they've only kicked 3 penalties in the entire season. How's that for confidence that we can get the points by scoring tries? And that's what they did really. They just outmuscled and outgunned Nelson. Nelson would be disappointed with their first half effort. Second half they had a wee bit of a revival, tried to put some pressure on Boys High, but the cream comes to the top at finals time. So all over is Press Cup 2014, and it's been a fascinating year with everybody beating everyone. Now I'll get killed if I don't say it, but very historic victory after the Press Cup game. I went and had a look at my school, St Andrews College, and they got beaten by Burnside High School. And I think I'd be correct in saying that's probably about the first time they have. And it means that Burnside High now play the South Island final to see if they can get to the co-ed competition after St Andrews, I think, had booked their passage, thinking they were already going to Rotorua. Well, it was a very physical, combative game, and it was great to see. So well done to Burnside High, and let's hope it sees a resurgence in a big school like that, where they take rugby seriously, and that they really do push on with it from that victory there. We came, of course, to Eden Park. It's a fortress, no two ways about it. All Blacks haven't lost there for many, many years. Australia certainly haven't won there for decades. And, well, they turned out a pretty smart performance, didn't they? There was no two ways about it. Whatever was said during the week, they knew it was lacklustre 12-all in Sydney. Wasn't a good performance, and everybody stepped up, didn't they? A guy like Retallick, for argument's sake, just owns the game when he's on fire, doesn't he? He's a master at it. I've not really been convinced that Aaron Cruden is a first 5'8", but he stepped up to the plate. But if you get front foot ball, it's one hell of a help, isn't it? And it was a pretty shell-shocked Wallaby side at the end of the day, wasn't it? So a great encounter to watch, no two ways about it. And then to finish the weekend, my side, a team that I really do like to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching them Sunday afternoon, as Tasman ran up yet another very big victory, and they are playing such an exciting brand of rugby. Let's hope that Tasman can go on with it too, because it's very good for the Crusader region, isn't it? Otago didn't get the shield, never mind, we'll talk about that at another day. Well, there's a book out, and it's called Rampant Dragons, and it really is a fascinating read. I've read it, or as best I can, and to explain all about it, the purpose of the book, it's now available. John Douglas Publishers are publishing it. It's available at $75 at every good bookstore. But we're joined firstly by the author, Geoffrey Plowman, the author. What prompted, Geoffrey, the purpose of writing Rampant Dragons?
Well, I was always fascinated with personal stories. My father had been in a prisoner of war during the Second World War, and I'd grown up with his wartime stories, really. So,
did he talk a lot about it?
An awful lot, yes. Yeah,
because a lot of them don't.
No, he talked my mother an awful lot about when he got back. And every time people come over for Christmas time or New Year or stuff like that, he'd get out telling stories about this time. It's not the same stories all the time, but they're always fascinating to me, actually.
Now, you're not a historian at all. You have a proper job. You're not even an author. You've got a proper job.
That's right, yes.
But this is your 15th book.
15th book, that's right, yes.
Yeah. Basically just following the thread from the war years?
Basically the thread, yes. I'm really fascinated with the Second World War, really, actually. So I guess it's just partly from my father's background, really. I've got some bits and pieces from his prisoner of war camp days, some of his uniform, his medals, you know, those sort of things. Yeah. Even a Jewish coin they threw out from on the way to Auschwitz, basically, from the railway line.
Good God. Yeah. Did he go away as a young man?
Yes, he did actually, yes. He was born in 1918, so he's one of the last volunteers. He joined up in 1940 actually. So,
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
So.
Now, if someone said to me I was going to go to war, I wouldn't be terribly thrilled about it, but the two options I would never take would be one to be in a submarine and the other to be in a tank. But we've got a survivor of the 20th Battalion with us, and a lot of you, particularly in North Canterbury, will know this guy. He's a real character, Alan Burgess. He clocks in at that golden age of 94, but he's razor sharp. Alan, you joined up, but was the intention to be in the tank corps?
No, not really, no.
Where do you want to see yourself?
I didn't want to be in it at all, really, but...
When you did? Perhaps an infantryman?
No, I went away as Wairau was the training camp for tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got called up at 21, actually I tried to join before 21, but my mother sent my birth certificate and I was underage and you had to be 21.
Right, yeah.
And so I got knocked back.
Had you ever seen a tank close up?
No, didn't know what a water tank was the nearest I got.
And then you spent blooming years in them. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah. Now you were a prominent sports person at that stage. You were a rugby. We talked about the Linwood Club. It's got a special part in your life, hasn't it? The Linwood Club.
Yes, very much. So.
Good memories of that.
I have.
And then you played cricket for Canterbury, just as a young man.
That's right.
Were you just getting started, and then the war broke out?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you bat or bowl?
Both.
You had to in those days, I suppose.
Well, I got into the Canterbury team and as a bowler, left-hand slow bowler, and my first game against Otago, I think I do remember that because I got six wickets for 50-odd runs.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Did you ever turn at bat?
Yes, I finished opening bat for Canterbury.
Good God.
After the war.
After the war, yeah. Because there's an interesting twist to this, as we find as we go through the book, which is fascinating. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about the book and the importance of it from a Canterbury's perspective. So we're back with Jeff Plowman, the author, and Alan Burgess, a survivor of the 20th Battalion. Welcome back. We're actually celebrating the release of Rampant Dragons, which is a record of the tank corps in the Second World War, and beautifully researched, very well compiled. It's been a labour of love, I should have thought, for Geoffrey Plowman, the author. What struck me when I went through the index to start with, Geoffrey, the predominance of Canterbury men and those that, when they did survive, wrote a real mark on the province of Canterbury, didn't they?
Yes, that's right, they did actually.
Just to name some of them that went through.
Well, it was Laurie Govan.
Sir Laurie Govan.
Litchfield
Church.
Yes.
Yep.
Martin Donnelly.
Yep.
You know,
we're going to talk about Martin Donnelly because my other guest, Alan Burgess, has a bit to do with him. Yep.
Theodore.
Yes.
I could talk to him too, so, you know.
Another one that I noticed that was there was, because we just touched on Christchurch Boys High School in the Press Cup, was Charles Cornwall, who of course went on to be the headmaster of Christchurch Boys High School.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
A well-known person around Canterbury, but it's littered with names. I remember a good mate of my dad was Frank Harvey. He served and, and carried on with his work in that area as well, with the tank corps and the regiments and the battalions, which was great.
Yeah. Frank Harvey was really a very guiding light for the 19th Battalion Armoured Regiment here, and the memorial up in the Victoria Park too. So
if you haven't been up there, it's in Victoria Park. It's a memorial. It's been a labour of love by a lot of guys, didn't they, that just wanted it to be marked in some way, and it's worth a visit up there. Go up there on a Sunday for a walk, and it's well worth having a look at. So they didn't all survive, though, Geoffrey, did they? That was the problem. And a lot of it was because of cock-ups.
That's right, it was too, you know. So, I mean, my father was captured during a cock-up when there was no tank support, but Alan was in a reverse situation where there was no infantry support, basically, so.
It's a very poor choice of words, I've got to say, author, because Alan Burgess has a little bit of a reputation of how he got through, and some of your mates actually say some terrible things about you. You're the only guy that insisted on getting a tank that would have a reverse gear. That's harsh, Alan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Was it exciting times in so much as you thought you were going overseas to see the world?
Well, we're all young fellas, you know. When you're 21, you think I was an apprentice stuck in a factory in and just to get out and see the world was the thing to do. So that you joined up. We were like sheep, you know. One joined up and the.
Yeah. Tell me life in a tank. It doesn't appeal to me. I mean, I'd be claustrophobic, I suppose. You didn't have any of those fears?
No, I never. No, I never struck claustrophobia at all. Really, the odd fella did that. Couldn't be shut. You know, once the
once the lid went down on the turret. You're locked in, really, aren't you?
They're locked in. Yeah.
How quick did they go across the ground?
Well, it was different tanks because I was in Shermans, which were American, of course, land lease. You know, they after Alamein, and they'd do about on a good hard road about 30.
So you covered a bit of ground in a hurry if you had to.
Oh yeah, they were pretty
going
fast.
forward.
30 miles. Yeah. I knew where reverse was. Yeah.
The areas that stick out in your mind most, the battle areas that stick in your mind.
The first one, Estonia.
Yeah.
Yes, that was. Funny thing going into battle, well, like we started off bottom of Italy to Bari, and we worked our way up and up and up and up, and next thing you sort of you see the infantry alongside just sort of crouch down, you know, just what the hell are they crouched down for? But you didn't realise. Then you look away to the left somewhere, and I saw a tank brewed up, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, hello, this is it. But you didn't think much more about it. You were
So mainly then were you fighting the Italians? Or straight
Not
to the Germans?
Italians. No, we never fought the Italians. They were out of it.
They'd gone by then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was Germans.
Fierce opposition?
Very much so.
Yeah, they were as determined as you boys?
Good soldier.
Yeah.
Good soldier, German.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with him.
No. Tell me some of the characters you had, because you had a very, very interesting war career. You were a bit of a ratbag, to be perfectly honest, weren't you?
Thanks very much.
No, you were. I've heard stories. Yeah, you're a bit of a ratbag. Yeah. A young man, I suppose, Italian wine would be pleasant.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't pay for that.
You just helped yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there wouldn't have been a lot of break, though, would there? You didn't have a lot of downtime?
No, not really.
You were full on?
No, we went from Estonia to Casino, then to Florence.
Yeah. What was well, Jeff might be able to tell me, what really was the purpose of Casino? You read in the book that really it was only a knob on a hill, really, wasn't it, at the end of the day?
The Liria Valley was considered to be the main route to Rome.
Yes.
And so the two dominating hills were Monte Cassino and Monte Maio. Who possessed those possessed the gateway, basically.
Right.
And it was considered, it's a flat plain, really, so, yeah.
But all the shelling and all the bombing in the world really didn't make a hell of a lot of difference at Casino, did it?
No, it didn't actually.
Yeah.
No, so,
Almost a waste at some stage.
Well, it was a waste, but then on the other hand, if you hadn't bombed, it would have been even more intense as well.
Right.
Because the Canadians had trouble on Otona, on the Adriatic coast, actually. So.
What made New Zealanders such good fighters, Alan?
Well, to carry on from what Jeff said, Casino, to us fellas, we went up Route 6 after the bombing, but the place was just, bombed out, so we couldn't get through. So we were stuck in the middle of Casino, the township, for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And of course the Germans had dug in there, hadn't they?
Oh yeah, on the hill, yeah.
Bloody hard to get at.
Oh, well, you just couldn't put your finger up and get shot off. No, we were stuck in under the tank. We used to, we dug a trench under our tank, and we used to have 3 days in and 3 days out.
Right.
The crews we used to swap over, but when you were in there, we used to sleep under the tank and go out on.
Amazing. How big a thrill to actually drive into Rome?
No, we didn't drive.
You didn't get in there?
No, we didn't get to Rome.
Right.
No, we were withdrawn from there.
Why was that? They need you somewhere else.
I don't know. I was only a trooper.
Why did they not go into Rome, Jeff?
That was Mark Clark.
Yes.
Mark Clark, the
American,
American general. He made a blue Or Jeff probably.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to unravel it. Yeah. What happened, Jeffrey?
The New Zealand needed a rest, though, basically. They had a pretty hard time in Casino. They'd been up the Leary Valley toward Abazano, and basically they were pulled out of the line just to recuperate. They'd quite a lot of heavy losses, actually. You know.
So who pushed on?
The Americans pushed on. Yes,
yeah.
And then we came back in Florence again once they got out of steam, you see. So.
When they broke out of Anzio on the coast, instead of cutting the Germans off at Casino and south of...
Trapped them,
Trapped them. Mark Clark wanted the glory of... And he turned up the coast and he captured Rome. So, but they reckon that cost a lot, didn't they? The war could have finished earlier.
So it was more an ego trip for Clark.
An ego trip, yes. He was that.
To hell with you blokes.
That's right, that's right, yeah.
Must have been a lot of that went on in the war and the other books that you've written as well. You've seen that thread go through, Jeffrey, have you? That just the thinking process of some of the guys in charge.
You'd
have to challenge, wouldn't you?
You had to challenge, that's right, you know, so, yeah.
When we come back, told you there'll be a sporting theme to it. We mentioned the Linwood Club, we mentioned Canterbury, but I did never ever know that something else happened in the war. So we'll talk about that in a minute with Jeffrey and Alan. Rampant Dragons is the book. It's published by John Douglas Publisher. It's written by Geoffrey Plowman, and it features a lot of Alan Burgess. Well, when you read a book like this, you think you know everything, don't you? We all heard about the Kiwis, didn't we? 1945, the greatest All Black side ever selected. Of course, they just went as the Kiwis in those days. Never ever knew that there was a New Zealand cricket team. Now, I picked it up purely and simply because a wonderful name in the history of New Zealand sport is in the book and features quite prominently. Well, Alan Burgess knew him well, knew him even better than that because he played with him. Martin Donnelly, a name that everybody reckons is probably the finest cricketer that we've ever produced. Alan, how good a cricketer was Martin Donnelly?
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
He must have been one of the best, yes.
Yeah. How did the cricket thing evolve at the war, at the end of the war?
Bit of a mystery to me, bit of a mystery. I was... At the end of the war, we were in Trieste, at the top of the Adriatic, and I was out swimming. It was about a week after the end of the war, and Charles Corwell, who you mentioned earlier on, he was my commanding officer. He called me into his tent and he said, I said, what have I done wrong now?
This time? Yeah.
He said, you're off to England. I said, what for? He said, you're going to, Donnelly's got you to, we're going over there to play cricket.
So it was a New Zealand team?
I think Freiburg, I think it harked back to Freiburg.
Yes.
It's rather, I'm not quite even sure today how it really come about, but it finished up, there was only two of us out of the whole division got sent to England.
Donnelly and yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. And you had a whole season there?
Yes, yeah. Donnelly flew over there, but he was a major and I was a private, so I went by ship.
And can you remember how many games you played?
No, not really.
No.
Well, we went from the end of April until September.
September, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
we
you really want to come
Lord's.
home then, or did you just enjoy playing cricket there?
Well, actually, I was going to go for a trial with Warwickshire at the end of the war, but at that particular time I got word that my mother had a bad stroke and was missing me, and between the two,
you came home?
I came home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
now you played
I never went back. I said I'd go back, but I never did.
You played the English professionals, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
England, yes.
Yeah. They treated you okay?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did Donnelly perform on that tour?
Very good.
How did Alan Burgess perform on that tour? The wickets would suit you as a slowie?
Yeah. I never bowled much then, no.
Just a run machine?
Well, King James didn't know me. And,
who's King James?
James, well, he was New Zealand wicketkeeper, one of our good ones.
Really?
Way back in the 30s. Ken James. Same time as Stewie Dempster and
Right.
Roger Blunt.
Yeah. So
Ted Badcock.
Yeah.
They were in our side in England. Those.
Now, it's fascinating, Jeff, isn't it, in the books that you've done, how important a part sport actually played for these guys, just to keep them, well, give them a breather, I suppose, more than anything else.
Oh yes, it was actually. I mean, they had competitions in Egypt before they left, and even when they pulled out of the line at the end of the Desert War, there'll be sports events like at Sora after the Casino battle. They had a big sports events there as well, running, athletics, everything.
Right.
So, yeah.
And you look forward to that, Alan, as a serviceman? You look forward to the sport side of it?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a release.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Especially the cricket. See, we never played cricket in Italy.
No.
But we had a top team in Egypt.
In Egypt, yeah.
So we played South Africa there. Martin Donnelly, Purcell Donnelly and all these fellas. Carson, the All Black.
Now, Mark Burgess is a name that you'll remember, of course. He was a double international, soccer and cricket.
That's
His
right.
dad was involved.
Played for Auckland.
Played for Auckland, yeah. So you
we
knew him.
Played against him.
Yeah. So when you came back from the war, you picked your sport up again?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you found that important?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. Very much so.
Mind, you lost a lot of chums, didn't you? You lost some good sportsmen.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was war. Yes.
That was war.
Yes.
Jeffrey, you're proud of your book?
Oh, absolutely, yes, yeah. But it's a celebration and commemoration of people that fought, actually, really. It's for them, not for me, and for their families.
Right,
so, yeah.
right. Alan, you're proud of the effort of the book?
Yes. Yes. Yes, he almost had it right.
Almost had it right. A few of your adventures didn't make the trip. Have you got one memory you can give us of where you were a bit naughty?
I can't put in a book.
No, what were you a bit naughty with? Give us one for the viewers at home. Eh?
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Preferably not involving women.
No.
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 Yeah.
Well, they were out of our, yes.
Yeah. But you'd party hard at different times, did you?
No, not really, no. No, we used to, we had a marquee. We had a marquee that when we came out of the line, we had a marquee that we used to put up. And of course, Freiberg, he was a great boy for letting us off the hook for a week.
Yeah.
Where the English were very tough, they come out the line and they went straight back into training, which we were more.
Kiwis didn't like the military police, did they?
No, not really.
No, because they were POMs.
No, well, they called what they were called the. Forgotten, Jeff. What they call the military police.
Well, I don't know whether you can even say it on television, to be honest. But
Well, they used to follow us up.
the red caps.
No, red caps were off traffic. No, gee whiz.
But they just didn't understand the Kiwi way of life, did they?
No.
Did you spend a lot of time with the Australians or not?
No.
No, they were separated out, were they, Jeff?
We didn't
They'd
have.
gone home by that stage.
We didn't
They'd gone
have.
home, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
they
we
left
didn't.
after Alamein, they went back, really.
We didn't have Australians in Air Force.
Right, Random Dragons is the book. It's published by John Douglas Publishers. We have a veteran with us at 94 years of age, and as you can see, he's in pretty good nick. He must have had a soft war by the look of him, but I don't think he did.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Plowman, congratulations on book number 15. It's a fascinating read. We have one copy to give away. All we want you to do is just send us in the name of the book, and I'll repeat it for you. It's Rampant Dragons. Just give us a call, 3777 033. We'll do the draw next Monday here on Red and Black Sport.